So when the high priest went into the Holy of Holies, maybe all he did, maybe all he was expected to do was breathe. And then he got out. That's the way we like our encounters with God to be. A few deep breaths, and then we get out. Nice and safe. But sometimes, God asks, who's going to help me on this project? And instead of breathing, we hear ourselves saying, here am I, send me. Then we hear ourselves thinking, did I just say that? Or, like the disciples in today's gospel, we hear ourselves telling God, or in that case God's Son, that the plan just won't work. Jesus, at this point in the gospel, is not unknown to them. In fact, they had seen him heal countless sick people who were brought to him and had, on a very personal level, experienced him healing Simon Peter's mother-in-law. He was a rabbi with healing powers. And it is believed by the more sarcastic among us that the biggest miracle in Jesus' ministry was to get the fishermen to listen to his suggestion and to fish in another spot. Because you can always tell a fisherman, but you can't tell them much. Anyway, after a long night of fishing, with no success, Jesus, a carpenter by trade, dares to tell them that they needed to fish in another spot, and wonder of wonders, they did. And there was a mammoth catch of fish, so big that it became a problem, a burden for them. They couldn't get it to shore by themselves. This week, a verse jumped out at me from this gospel that I had overlooked in years of reading it, studying it, and preaching on it. When their nets were beginning to break, they signaled their partner in the other boat to come over and help them. Their partners in the other boat were being called to help out too. The reason that this verse stood out for me is that the fisherman's blessing had become a burden. Their undreamed of catch of fish had become a problem too big for them to handle. And so they cried out to their fellow fishermen for help. Our brothers and sisters in Christ need our help. Smoke may have filled their temple, but it was fire and water that destroyed it. On Monday morning, I went over, walked through, and you could see the sky through the ceiling of their sanctuary. Pews are ruined. The organ will not play again. And I heard myself saying to people I have known and loved since I was 17, and other people with whom I have fought for years, if you need us, we will help you. Christopher Agos, our council president, Linda Campbell, Pastor Patrick McGuire, and I attended the community prayer service for them and heard ourselves saying this over and over again. You come, we'll take care of you. To their call from God, both Isaiah and St. Peter said, Get away from me, Lord, for I am sinful. And now you may be saying to yourself what I said when I got home and got over my sympathetic and empathetic feelings. I said to myself, how in the world are we going to do that? So please, I beg you, don't come at me at the door or at coffee hour with myriads of questions about scheduling and who's going to do what, when. Don't bother to ask me things I cannot possibly know nor anticipate. Don't bring me more problems. But please, I beg you, be like those partners in ministry in the other boat and come and help out. I am fully aware that I am not Hermione Granger, and I do not have a time turner that allows me to be in two places at once. But I do know that we have enough talent in the congregations of Parkview and St. John's, along with a plethora of clergy, Father Tingley, Pastor McGuire, who teaches music at Parkview, and a quarter-time interim at Edgebrook, that with God's help, we can take on God's new and challenging call in our lives. While the nets of human fishermen may be too small and begin to fail, God's net is very large and very strong. Strong enough, I believe, to keep 3 congregations and their clergy under God's watchful care. Strong enough to be with us in our joys and in our sorrows, to be with us on our good days and on our bad days. God's net, which really is just a metaphor for God's love, can embrace us all. And sharing this love with each other. Who knows how many people we will touch, how many people we will embrace, how many new friends, some of them are old friends to me, we will make, and how much God's presence and power can be felt in all that. Now is not the time to tell God to go away because we are feeling just a little bit overwhelmed and inadequate, but rather to say, okay, here we are, Lord, send us. And the promise that we can be certain of this day is that God will be with us every step on the journey. One thing I am sure, God will be with us every step of the way, and will make this so.